Welcome back to the PFC podcast. The views and opinions you are about to hear are the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of anyone else. Now on to the podcast.
Welcome back to the PFC podcast. Today I'm with Josh and Jeremy, and we are going to talk all things SOM-C. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad?
A little bit brain tired, but
Yeah?
We're here.
So how was training today?
Better for me than it was for Jeremy, that's for sure.
Right?
you're not wrong. Apparently it's frowned upon if you try to cover ET tubes.
Yeah?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
He's just trying to injure Lane early is what you're
Food was cooking, boys.
Oh, man. No, it was good. It was really good training.
Good deal.
Yeah. I'm a little exhausted, but yeah.
Yeah. It's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So for those who may not know, would you guys mind doing a real quick intro?
Yeah, so I am Josh. I am the CEO and founder of the Special Operations Medic Coalition, a 501c3 nonprofit to support special operations medics and help their transition from battlefield provider to veteran professional.
And I'm Jeremy. I'm the COO, I think mostly by default, being friends with Josh.
Yep. Well, friends is a strong word, but keep
Friend is just, I just kind of hang around. So I'm the COO of it, and basically what we do is I oversee the programs that we start, and which we'll talk about later. But I'm kind of Josh's right-hand man.
All right. Very good. So, what is SOM-C? What's kind of SOM-C's focus?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I guess I can speak straight talk about the vision. So, SOM-C envisions every special operations medic having the resources necessary to enhance their careers, capabilities, and their community. So that's the vision. That's what we would ultimately love to see happen. And how we get there, basically our mission is we just advocate for the special operations medic and we assist in their transition from battlefield provider to veteran professional. So it kind of goes back, and my spiel is it started in the team room. We had if you go to any team room, you'll sit down and guys always bitch, complain. They talk about the same stuff. We're not getting enough out of our training. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get out. I don't have the certifications and everything else. So taking all that, I had the opportunity to say, hey, let's see if we can do something about this. And over the past 2 years now, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, 2 years. It started off as one thing, and it's grown. It's continued to grow based off the needs of the community and where we could fit. So I started this nonprofit with some friends here, and we are focused on that advocacy as the big part of it. Basically teaching the community, the civilian community, what it is to be a special operations medic, because we see ourselves as a rare breed and an asset to the civilian community eventually. And then trying to solve that problem, which is how do we get to the civilian sector? How do we become that veteran professional? How do we take what we've learned and transition that? And then from doing that, we came up with our programs. And so our objectives are to focus on the careers, the capabilities, and the community of the special operations medic, because those are the three fields that I think we all think we can enhance the most and kind of help, right? So.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We started out 2 years ago, and we were just, truth be told, around a Waffle House table.
Yeah,
and the idea, Josh's idea, came from the team room and brought it back to us. And as we sat there and chewed on it, literally and metaphorically, and then SOM-C has grown so much and morphed into what it is, and we're continuing to evolve. And I mean, look at when we went through, SOCM and 18 Delta is like where medicine was then, now versus now. Yeah. And, we have very similar transitioned with the times and transition with what is needed, because when, in the team room and us, when we started this, it was, hey, this is what we envision, this is what we do. But the more we talk to soft medics, the more involved we got. And like Josh said, with talking with civilian providers, who we're advocating the soft medic for, or to, it's how do we better do that? So let's evolve our way of thinking, how we present ourselves, the terminology, the lingo, to make that transition seamless to the PAs, the doctors, the lawyers, the MBAs, anywhere that a soft medic wants to transition to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, so one of the big things that we did is we broke down on those 3 objectives, and then we focused on what programs could we really start to help. So we focused on putting out some content, and if you guys have heard, we have a podcast, we have our webinars, and we have
YouTube channel.
We have the YouTube channel that we put those webinars and other things on, and that was kind of focusing on the capabilities and some of the career. So like, hey guys, this is giving back. This is free content for you to look at and, get better at your craft. We're not trying to make any money off it. Membership to SOM-C is completely free. And as much of our programs and resources that we have, we're going to try to always keep free for the Special Operations Medic.
Let me correct you. Not try to.
We will. Fair enough.
The SOM-C membership will always be free for the soft medic.
Yeah.
Then that is something we're adamant about, and that's why I kind of wanted to just clear up any confusion with your very, very poor choice of words. So right-hand man. So, but that's true. I mean, I do believe soft medics are a rare breed, and we do a lot throughout all of our communities, through the NSW, the MARSOC, the 18 Delta. I mean,
specifically 18 Delta.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Do we really want to do this? No, but so being able to, you totally made me lose my train of thought, which is not hard.
No.
Dynamite.
They're not laughing with you.
Where was I going with that?
Oh no, just let it go.
TBIs, man. No, we put ourselves out there so much, and the last thing we want to do is, I mean, how many memberships are we a part of in general? Yeah. And then it's like, oh God, here's another $20 or here's another $40, just taxing on us that much. Yeah. So the SOM-C will, the soft medics will always have full access to the SOM-C and our programs. Yeah. Free.
Yeah. And I think much like you guys, like with PFC.org, like you guys work really hard to put out free content to everybody. And that's really important because, with your podcast and everything else, I found myself as a junior guy in the community using that as a resource to make myself better. So I felt like, hey, we should do that as well. Give back to the community. Let's give out free resources and content. The other side of that is the big complaint we always found, and was guys were like, how do I get to this next point in my career? So we, as special operations medics, we work tirelessly at our craft, always giving, selflessly sacrificing, because honestly, like, we love the job, probably a little sadistic.
Yeah.
And we understand the ultimate cost of not being good at our craft. So we usually ignore a lot of our own personal advancement as far as careers go, education goes, and those things. So taking that into account, we were like, well, that's a great way to give back. That's a great way to that's a program we need to focus on. So that's where our education side of the house, our education ambassador program, our mentorship program, all those programs came from, was to set up a way to help these guys, help ourselves, help other people's transition to the veteran professional. When I say veteran professional, we're not only talking the medical field, guys who obviously want to be PAs, doctors, nurses, so on and so forth, but people who maybe just want to get their MBA, or they want to just get a bachelor's in ag science. I don't know, whatever they want.
Underwater basket weaving. That's my goal.
Solid, yeah.
Set your standards low, always make yourself proud.
Yeah, you've been at it for like 6 years, maybe. But so that's where other members of our team, Ricky Ditzel, if you guys know him, he's a 160th medic, recently got out, and he's a huge help in the education side of the house.
That's an understatement. Yeah. Him and the next person I'm pretty sure you're about to mention.
Will Eisenhart, yep. And then Rico Pesky as well. They've all been working side by side on the education side of the house. And that's really been an underground, as Will would say, an insurgency to advocate and then get the universities, the higher education centers to start understanding what we do and get them on board to want to play ball with the special operations medic. Because it never fails. We see it time and time again, and guys will put in to go to med school, they'll put in for PA, or they'll put in to just do anything in general, and they're not, their past experiences, their career, their skills really aren't taken that much into account. You know, it's sad, but it's true, because it's really pretty objective to the university. They don't see much between the 20-something-year-old applying straight out of high school and the guy who's put in 10 plus years special operations experience in multiple combats. It's sad to say, but it really is. It's.
Yeah, I mean, we had to talk about, most PAs in med schools require patient hours and, PA and doctor shadowing. Mm-hmm. And the running joke was like, I've taken care of more dudes in the barracks than any, like, I passed that patient hours in 1 month.
Yeah.
as far as like just taking care of dudes, or sitting in battalion surgeon's office discussing patients, or when you run into each other, catching up on patients that you've seen, like just in general. Yep. But conveying that to the universities, the admission boards, like how do we get that on paper?
Yeah.
How do we
work with
speak that lingo? And yeah, Ricky Ditzel and Will have been, I mean, talk about insurgency, UW.
Yeah.
I mean,
these guys are crushing it.
They have been in some meetings, and we had one, and I don't even know why I was on the Zoom call, but I sat there, shut up and colored, and learned.
Yeah. And so Will, so Ricky and them, one of the big things, so Will himself is in the Yale online PA program. So he's in his second year finishing up. Ricky's doing his post-bac at George Washington, I believe. He's going to be mad.
Yeah, he's our friend.
Don't even know me.
And he's told us like 9 times. But I know he got his undergrad from GW.
Yeah.
Because he got his degree in what I'm going for.
Right.
Basket weaving?
Yeah.
Dynamite dropping, Dennis. I appreciate that. But yes, it is basket weaving.
And then, so we're also working with several other colleges and universities. So Columbia's MilVet program has been great. They're working with us.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so creating those relationships with not only the veteran side of the house and the universities, but also the admissions. So WVU, amazing program. Shout out to them. So their special operations medic program that they have down there for their med school, awesome. So they've been nothing but helpful in trying to get good candidates through us to their program. They provided a webinar on their entire program. So that's one relationship we have. Mount Sinai is another relationship.
That Ricky Ditzel has groomed, fostered and groomed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
even John Hopkins, we have some connections up there, friends who are trying to help get more special operations medics into their programs, because they're starting to see the benefit of, if I can get this guy up here, mentor him, groom him, get him through the process, he's probably going to do pretty well. He's going to make it through. And then on the back end, he's got tons of experience and the mindset that I'm looking for to be a great doctor, PA, Fortune 500 CEO, whatever it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So would you say, as far as these programs go, it's more of an education to the hospital staff, or showing guys how to kind of clean up their resume, clean up their application?
Well, it's not just for, like, I know we've hit the medical side of the civilian, but it's not just that. So we have former soft medics that have gone on to they have gone on to get their MBAs. Yeah. And one of our programs is an education ambassador and a mentorship. There's two different programs, but it's, so when you do, no matter what it is, we want soft medics that have gone and chose all different walks of life after their time serving, and it's that transition to where I can talk to somebody who's ate that same mud as I have, and to go through and understands what my capabilities are, and being able to, hey, this process is going to be this, and this. It's very similar to how we did this. So being able to speak the lingo with the education ambassador and the mentor, being able to speak the language of that university or that program and being able to convey it to us as a soft medic, knowing our background. I think because that's the big thing. I mean, how many times have we been somewhere and we have to give a CAPES brief of
every time,
like who we are.
Yep.
And
it doesn't matter how many rotations have gone through. Like even the soccer rotations, we've been there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And students are still saying like they don't know what a soccer is. Like, huh?
At this point, you almost feel like that'd be part of their in-doc when they get hired in the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, so I think Jeremy put it great. So the mentorship program that we have is more of a community program that's focused on putting you in one-on-one contact with an individual in the professional realm so they can help you with whatever your goal is, right? So give you some professional mentorship and grooming. Like if you need help with your resume, you're looking at career choices, whatever it may be, that'll put you one-on-one with that person. The education ambassador side of the house is us directly connecting with a liaison with a university to help streamline that process, whether it's through advocating for you or getting in with their veteran program that they have and putting a person in place so that when you click the button or you go see them, they're going to help you get your package in. They're going to help you with your admissions process. They're going to help you for your interview, whatever it may be, so that you can get your package to the top of the stack. Or they're going to know that, okay, you do weigh a little bit heavier than the average Joe who's coming through here. That's the goal for us.
Yeah. No, outstanding. I mean, obviously, you're at it been 2 years, but have you had success? Have you had multiple guys going through this?
I mean, yeah. So we've had like I said, it started off slow, a lot of learning on our part. And then the big thing is we started finding a call to action in different places. Once COVID hit, that was kind of our first real call to action where we started getting personally hit up and asked by people on the civilian side of the house, hey, could you guys help out with this? Is this something we need special operations medics. We know you guys work in this realm. We know that you do things. Doc Rush put out a call at one point, basically looking for help in New York and other areas. So we actually had members of our team go up there to New York. The Ryan Larkin Field Hospital was through New York Presbyterian, was really our first opportunity to be like, hey, let's do something, guys. Like let's prove that we're here for a reason. We're all about what we say we're going to do. So when our team went up there, we had a member who was involved with pretty much Ricky. It was Ricky.
Yeah.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Ricky Ditzel was part of some of the hiring process and staffing and working up there and creating a team to help with the basically step down was what Ryan Larkin was for COVID positive patients. And he put soft medics in a position that I don't think anyone else would have let them be in that position. Basically put them at the level of RNs or higher to run trauma teams and run these COVID patient teams.
Not even just running trauma teams. They were team leads. So they were managing whole other teams, numerous other teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was like when he broke it down to us of how it was all laid out. I mean, there were soft medics that were leading 20 some odd people that were different teams and organizing that. And it was just almost, and it was, I don't want to speak for Ricky, but from what he says, like it was just almost seamless. Like the soft medics went in there and stepped up and it got the attention of the physicians of that to like these guys. And Ricky, again, he was in charge of building all that and saw what he could do. Yeah. And so that speaks volumes of.
It opened doors is what it did.
Right.
Yeah. So basically they had New York waive a bunch of their, restrictions, regulations on what dictates what as an RN. And even after the fact, they allowed these soft medics to go work at New York Pres and kind of waive some of their regulations to allow them to work in PA capacities in certain areas of the hospital where they were doing things. He was on a trach clinic or
COVID trach team.
He was on a COVID trach team, and they just because of his experience and his ability, they were like, "Hey, you're an asset. You have this skill. We need you for this skill. We're going to say that you're basically working as a PA right now. Go ahead and do it." Yeah. And so that opened up opportunities in New York that are pretty awesome. So our organization saw that need. We supported them financially. The members, the soft medics going up there, we ended up raising over $4,000 for that whole operation, getting them equipment and things that they needed to start their whole operations. And we had Patagonia helped us, Black Rifle, Axe Coffee,
Bang.
yeah,
Bang.
yeah, which is always nice. Bang sent a so what's the best thing to send a bunch of medics at a hospital? Bangs.
Bangs. What's a great thing to send soft medics in general?
Bangs.
Bangs.
Right.
So that was pretty awesome. And then after that, go ahead.
We also raised money to donate.
Right. Yeah. So
one thing that we wanted to do is, Ryan Larkin was a SEAL that struggled with a TBI and
well, he ultimately was a special operations medic. He was a SEAL who lost his life to TBI, PTSD, other issues that he had post leaving the military, and so we wanted to do something about it. That's a big problem for us too. It's kind of another avenue that we've found ourselves involved with, because not only as soft medics do we have to be caregivers and treat this, but we also have to deal with it in our own community. Like, hey guys, we're not immune. We also suffer from this as well. And again, we selflessly just do our jobs and don't think about ourselves. So we were like, let's give back. And we ended up raising about $2,100 from that to directly go towards TBI research. And so that fund is still going on. We actually just had another fundraiser. I'm going to look at the numbers because I don't want to get this wrong, because our director will be upset.
Yeah, you're definitely going to see her.
Yeah, actually, it was also the money from the Ryan Larkin Field Hospital that ended up going towards the TBI research. So that $4,500, and then our director and Mariah, our fundraising director, just did a 48-mile. Go ahead.
48 mile, 24-hour. Run to raise awareness for TBI. And
they raised $2,100 for that.
Nice.
And so that money is all going to go into a fund. We have another event coming up here soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to release it.
You might want to text the director.
I'm not going to leave the director alone right now.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's another event that will come up soon. That's going to be...
Which, by the way, I got to give a shout out.
Yeah.
So the 24-hour run that they did, it was every hour on the hour they ran 2 miles. And Josh and I just came back from some training, and we dropped the ball
pretty hard
on supporting these two women hard, because I literally woke up that morning and I
think my bag was still in the back of the truck.
I was confused on when the time was. I was texting other people like, are they running? Because I didn't want to leave my house and like open up as they were running, like, oh, good morning.
We're doing this. It's nice to see you waking up.
Yeah. But talk about just being humbled.
Yeah.
Like two women who wanted to do this to raise TBI awareness, like just that amazing 100%. Cause, but also just the willpower and the tenacity they had to do that. It was grueling.
Yeah.
And we really didn't do much.
No, I ran the last few legs with our director Katie, and I was tired.
Yeah, you ran. Well,
and I say run.
You moved in that direction.
There was no run.
I don't know if it was running, but you moved in that direction in a faster than walk pace.
Yeah, exactly.
I was even worse than that. I drove your side by side and dropped you guys off at the start,
like 4 in the morning,
and then picked you up. And in between each 2 mile, I just slept in my truck because the bugs were so bad. That was an amazing thing to watch and witness. Just two people who aren't part of special operations. They're not operators.
There's no need for them.
No need for them to do that, but just the passion they have towards the SOM-C and TBI research to raise that money. I mean, it was honestly very humbling and amazing to watch.
Yeah. And so with that money, we're working with an organization right now who's going to use that money to treat some members of the special operations community and use that treatment to go into TBI research and further TBI research. So that's the ultimate goal of that. So those are some of the big things that we've done. This year, we're going to actually be giving out an education grant. So that'll be our
ding ding. That's our
ding,
big key point.
Right?
If you want to listen to this.
Yeah,
point.
listen to this. Okay, so you want some money.
So what does it take to get that?
There's going to be a process. So we're finalizing all the details of the application process. It's going to involve some giving back to the community. If you do receive that, you will have to put in and formally, I think there's going to be an essay portion to it, writing up why you need it, what are you going to do with it. And then the candidates, that's all going to go to our board and they're going to vote on that. It's not going to be a large, any money's large at this point. So it's $1,000 grant is what it's going to be starting out. And we would like to grow that over time.
Yeah.
But that's where we're starting this year. That's another side of our education side of the house where we're just going to give back to the soft medic and help them out. Again, free to the soft medic. There it is. Once again. So,
I was, if you weren't going to hit it, I had that in the chamber.
Not going to cost you anything. If we can continue to do what we're doing and grow, I think we're going to be able to keep giving back that way. I think the education side of the house is slowly becoming, every time we sit down, I think we did a TAC Med conference, the first question that was asked is, so what are you guys doing to get capabilities and my credentials on the civilian side? I basically want to be a PA when I get out. How am I going to do that? I was like, oh, dude, thanks. Thanks for that being the first question. But it happened.
I'm sorry I brought that up.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeremy. Just put me on the spot. But it really is. It's something guys are passionate about.
Yeah.
Because they want to do this job, but they want to do this job and
get paid.
They want to.
So like a lot of the guys, myself for one, I'll say it's like, I'm not ready to hang up my boots. My teammates may be ready for me to hang up my boots, but
and your peers,
and your peers. Well, I mean, are we really peers, Josh?
Fair enough.
But I'm not ready to give it up, and I think a lot of guys seen that. But we're in our careers where we want to plan. I mean, this is why none of our processes are short. It's not like, oh yeah, I started January and I finished March, and now I'm an 18 Delta. It just doesn't happen like that. So we have this ability to plan out and be very proactive with our goals. So a lot of us start at years before we're ready to get out. And so being able to do that and to get that transition started, no matter what it is, years before we go out. And again, it's the education side of the house is again, evolving. Anything like medicine has over the years, we have evolved, and we're keeping our ear to the ground. And it definitely seems to be like, hey, this is what I've done. This is who I am.
Yeah.
What translates to the civilian world for this?
And it's frustrating whenever you go to apply to college and it's like, here's 60 credits. A bunch of them are your elective credits, and then you got a couple biology. Oh no, those don't count. And then you have maybe a math credit or something with science.
Cool, your physical education is taken care of. That's which is awesome, because honestly, when I am doing school, all I want to do is just not do some homework and go work out. So I'm glad my physical education is taken care of.
Yeah, and then outside of that, and SOCM's great, but you get your paramedic and you get out and you're like, well, that doesn't really equate. Guys aren't going to find a huge amount of job satisfaction. They might even find some frustration going in the civilian world just to, and I don't say just, because paramedics, they do a lot out there, but they go out and become paramedics. They're like, it's not the same. You're not going to get the same gratification, the same,
Well, I mean, we've all worked with autonomy for so long, and being able to now transition to civilian world where almost like Big Brother's watching in all avenues.
Yeah.
I mean, people who want to get their, who've worked their butt off and got their undergrad while they're in using the tuition assistance and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they want to go to do their MBA or their master's in anything. It's like we want to keep that autonomy. I think that's what we all like and appreciate.
Yeah. 100%.
So anything less than that, it would seem like we're taking a step back. In my opinion,
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't join special operations if you liked being told what to do.
I mean, I was told I can grow my hair and put my hands in the pockets, and that was all I wanted. It wasn't true.
No, I think I got a text message about my haircut today. But yeah,
They didn't even see you, and they knew.
They didn't even see. Yeah. How did they know though? We didn't join this job to have somebody micromanage us and do this, because we're, well, not me, but other people that I've seen are able to work in that capacity and plan and be proactive to get their goals. Yeah. So it's I don't know, anything less than that, I think we're doing a disservice to the soft medic.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we beat the crap out of your education side, but you have a couple others, I believe.
Well, one thing that I think makes us unique outside of any other organization right now is we are international. Mm-hmm. So we have about 10 countries that are involved with SOM-C. They have liaisons. So if you go on our website and go to our international link, you'll find not only our Director of International Relations, Mike Tricconi, who is a prior Italian soft medic, but you'll also find liaisons from several different countries: Spain, Greece, Austria, Singapore, I think is another country. There's a lot of countries there, all who are trying to start their own, I guess, versions of SOMA and other things. Like, they're really passionate about standing up their support for their special operations medics. And so if you are in a country and you want to learn more, or you need support, or you want to be that person, go ahead and reach out.
Yeah. What's your international listeners like?
What are they like? They're super cool.
What's the demographic on them? Like, we reaching out to
to
the
we get
Republic
China,
of Congo.
We get China.
We all get China.
I was about to say, we all get China. Let's not claim stuff here, guys.
Oh, here, shit. Let me what up?
Oh, he's got the stats.
Way to call my bluff there, Dennis.
Good job. We thought we were the only ones.
Cool. PFC is international too.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll find it. So continue to talk.
Okay. Yeah. So we do have that. We actually ended up doing
here we go.
Guess it wasn't a raffle, right? It was a raffle, and then a submission for an opportunity to go to the International Mountain Path course through Ragged Edge Solutions. They went to the International.
Remember what we said? Think about what we're going to say before we say it.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
International Mountain Path course. So they were able to come down here. We supported their ticket. We supported their spot. And an international medic came through, got to go to the course, get some swag, and we give back to the international community as well.
Outstanding. So I pulled it up. So I'll just quickly run through the countries. Of course, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, thank you, United Kingdom, Bosnia, Germany, Italy, China, Poland, Japan, Finland, Bolivia, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, Russia, Portugal, Paraguay, India, Czech Republic, Estonia, Slovenia, and Djibouti, and that was today.
Jesus.
All right. They're pretty
in my heart of hearts, I feel like just half of them are collecting.
It still counts as a hit.
Don't take away from my numbers. Do we have that in our podcast where we can see things like that?
We can see things, but it's not that. I don't
know. Your director doesn't let you look. So.
We have United States, we have Mexico, we have Canada.
I can see that you're reading off your hand.
Yes, but your listeners couldn't, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dennis.
And now they can.
So I think that's we have the international program. We have our education program. Our community program is focused on mentorship. So that's the big thing they're doing. Other than that, we're trying to get content out there for the guys.
Yeah.
So we got our podcast.
Mm-hmm. How many podcasts you got?
I think we just released our fifth.
Our fifth podcast.
Fifth one. Yeah, we did put out 5. Holy crap, 5. We try to stay consistent.
Right.
Some of our staff are active duty, so it's hard to stay consistent. But yeah, so we put out our 5th, which was pretty good. Last one was just on research with Ricky, basically just doing all the brain stuff. Like, I don't think you contributed at all to any of that, did you?
Well, I made jokes.
That's
I made jokes. No, it was Ricky. It was Bryce.
Yep. Brian.
Who's Bryce is also, he did a podcast for us about his trip to Burma. Dr. Brian Wang.
Yep.
Who I was fortunate to, or I am fortunate to call a friend.
Again, he wouldn't say that, but
yeah, he probably would. That dude is the most humble man who has no business being humble. If I was him, I promise you would definitely know.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm not. So, and then us two joining that. Yeah. But I mean but the great thing about that, our podcast, is what we try to do is get a collective. I mean, Bryce was a former Ranger 160th guy. Yep. Brian was a 18 Delta after he became a neurosurgeon. Way to show off.
Yeah. You need to talk about that. So he was after he was a neurosurgeon.
Yeah. He went to neurosurgeon. He was a neurosurgeon at the old Johnny Hopkins.
The old Johnny.
First of all, who does that? So yeah, he went to 18 Delta, and that's where I met him, and instantaneously he was like became my study partner. And then which is great. Also part of our why the SOM-C is a coalition because we have such a broad range of individuals part of it. Yeah. And then we have Ricky, who is a 160th medic. Yeah. And that was our last podcast. Please go and listen to it. It is pretty informative, and it's how to read research.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yeah, and you know what? That sounds like a boring topic, but let's be honest. Like, how many soft medics have to actually go and dig into the research, or should, for that matter?
Prime example. Mostly why I can't use big words right now is because, like today during the training, talking with a trauma surgeon, and he's all of our instructors. If you go to proper medical courses, are of higher education, right? And so they publish papers and they cite research papers. Yeah. So being able to speak that lingo just as a professional soft medic, like understanding how to read research and being able to convey that automatically builds rapport. Like how many times did we talk about, speaking the lingo of who you're doing a teleconference with, automatically builds that rapport. It's the same thing.
Correlation versus causation and all those things. I don't know what that means. No, but seriously, I think those, and that was our first soft medic roundtable. So what we want to do is bring the coalition in. We find doctors, we find topics, we find people who want to, things that interest us and, the community, and then we break it down, so it goes into the science. It talks about why research is important, how to go through the research and understand what is crap and what is good and what you need to know and what you don't need to know and how to digest it. But then at the end of it, Brian's just like, this is how I do it. And it really, it sums it all up and it helps out.
Well, yeah, again, like being able to, and I think all of our podcasts, I think Dennis, I think you do great on the PFC, and why we tell all of our juniors, like, hey, on your way to and from work, like, listen to this podcast, because I think what a lot of people get wrapped around there, like there's EM Crit and these other medical podcasts, but how does that relate to us?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the thing that the PFC podcast does, the SOM-C, and I think what Josh and I's whole role with that research was, hey, let's dumb this down to like us simple folk, like us soft medics. But in reality, like that's what we want. I don't want to, we can listen to all these podcasts with all these fancy names, and we have to keep a medical dictionary readily available to look up what these are, but being able to bring it back down to the soft medics to how we can use this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, just speaking for myself, obviously with the PFC podcast and of course with the SOM-C podcast, everything is about context.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So MCRIT, that's awesome. SMAC is great. Yep. There's a bunch of them, right? Yeah. But they're very smart, but they're also, you have to keep in mind it's out of context for what you're going to deal with, unless of course you're going to work in a hospital. Yeah. And now that's very much in context, right?
Yeah.
So my point of view is I try to take something that's very relevant, crush syndrome, et cetera,
Yeah.
and get a very smart person, far exceeding myself, and I try to ask them the dumb questions that I'm sure one or two people have,
Yep.
and listen to what they got to say.
Yeah.
If I can put them into a situation that makes it difficult for them, then if they can figure a way out of it, awesome.
Yeah.
That's helping the medic on the ground. If it gets to a point where it's like, dude, I can't get out of this, there's probably a medic out there that's like, yes, because I was in that situation and I couldn't think my way out of it.
Absolutely.
And now I feel better about myself.
Yeah. On the other side of the house too, I had somebody the other day catch me in the hall. He was like, "Hey man, I listened to your podcast. It was pretty good. It was the best one I ever heard." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." No. He actually.
Well, there's 5 of them. So.
He's called me out again. So he's not a soft medic, but he was like, "Hey, it's nice to like be able to listen and get an inside peek." Kind of like what we're doing. And it's not like a bro vet thing.
Yep.
How many you get on a podcast, you're like, oh, it's a military thing. It's like dudes talking about bro vet stuff. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, we get it. You were a logistician.
Motor G, got it. No war. This is combat. No, I'm just.
We just insulted
so much trouble.
Yeah. We're going to get hate mail.
I was a supply guy, and I really didn't like what you said.
And this is why we get shitty man bags.
Exactly.
No,
this is why.
That's fine. It's like making fun of the Amish. They're never gonna know.
I'm still that one's good.
But I think that's another part of it too, is because you find too many of these soft podcasts or webinars or YouTube videos or Instagram posts, and guys are just bro vetting out. I mean, I don't really need it. I'm not that cool, man. I don't really need it.
Dude, if you're not wearing a grunt style shirt while you're podcasting,
now you really did it. they got people, man.
They're huge. Yeah. They're on Amazon.
Yeah. So I think and so outside of the podcast, we have our YouTube channel. We've been posting our webinars on there right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to do a webinar once a month. If you're a SOM-C member, you get that free. Like, we're going to send you a link.
Soft Medic will be free.
Soft Medic will be free. And we're sending out the links to our members. And you can get on, listen. Like the last talk, we had Dr. Lim from Scratch Labs.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. That guy.
Talk about regressing back to A&P.
Oh, yeah, man. I was getting my notes out. I was like, Dennis talked about this. This is hydration and kidneys, man.
Yeah, he was going into, I talked to a nephrologist about some of the stuff, and I was like, oh my God, that's what Dr. Makita said, which actually coincidentally did a webinar for us. So to talk about like the broad spectrum of what we do on webinars.
Yeah.
We've had nephrologists, we had PAs who go to doctors, Dr. Fisher, aka St. Fisher.
We had.
Go ahead, St. Fisher.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you showed that to me earlier, and I was just waiting this whole time to plug that in.
Drop that in.
But
perfect.
So we had him.
Chase Tuning.
Chase Tuning from Everford Radio.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we do have a wide variety, a myriad, if you will.
You good?
I'm done using big words.
Yeah.
Between treating patients today and using the word myriad, I'm done. So it's again, just as well as our podcast, we want to catch a broad spectrum of topics that will be useful to the soft medic.
Yeah. And so those webinars are good. You can catch them on YouTube after the fact, but the webinars are good because you get a good Q&A. I cut those out of the videos, obviously, but you get in there, you get a Q&A. When you get to talk to Andy Fisher, get to talk to, Dr. Lim or
Dr. Makita,
or
the
Lauren from WVU.
Lauren Emsley from WVU on their program to go to med schools, and being able to do that is Everford Radio with Chase Tuning, being able to talk to those individuals with the Q&A,
awesome.
That has been that alone, I think, just because again with the Q&A, I have asked questions much like your podcast, where it's just like, All right. I'm going to ask this question because I'm sure there's somebody else out there that does not understand this quite like I do. But it's, or maybe it's just me. I hear you laughing. I'm just going to take the joke out from you.
Anyways, no. So, yeah, I mean, that's, did I get everything? I think there's a lot in there. Yeah.
Webinar, YouTube, podcast,
Education.
mentorship,
We're reformatting an athlete ambassador.
Oh, yeah. So we had an athlete ambassador program. That was kind of a community program, and it was based off of supporting. I think we're having technical.
Oh, just turned us off.
Okay. We'll just continue. Here, just a second.
There it is.
All right, we're back.
Yep.
So, yeah, the athlete ambassador program was actually, athletes would go out, do their sport of interest, marathon, whatever it may be, and then we would support that athlete to do what it is that they're passionate about. In return, they would advocate, and then they would donate back to SOM-C, which would go towards our program. So we kind of put that on the back burners because we got overwhelmed with stuff,
Well, again, like we've mentioned, I think like 3 times at this point, we've evolved.
Yeah.
The athlete ambassador, I think what we found, there's other foundations and associations that do that, have been around a long time.
Yeah.
But what we have found, I think, are kind of niches with our Kate, our med director, and Mariah, our fundraiser, is I think we're kind of gonna try to evolve that into our athlete ambassador running for TBI awareness.
Yeah, we got a lot of support, actually.
That's not. I just want to go on record. Nothing set in stone with that.
Yeah.
I don't want Kate to.
Yeah, she's like, what did you commit me to?
Yeah.
You're just going to sign her up for events.
She signs.
She signs us up.
Yeah, she signs. Well, not me. I have the power to say no. Like, oh my God, I'm so busy, I can't do it. What are you doing? I got to go do a thing. Dennis assigned me some homework. So, But she signs you up, not me.
Well, and that's so that like their run that they did, a lot of people actually were super supportive of it, and then said they wanted to do it. So there is a possibility that could be an opportunity in the future. So we might expand that as part of the education ambassador, or not, athlete ambassador, and bring it back.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and I think, again, it separates us. It's just not like, oh, man, I'm part of this foundation, and I wear this cool tri-suit. First of all, no one cares. It's like, we get it, dude. You're a vegan doing triathlons.
Again, now you're insulting vegans, man. We can need all the support we can get. So you get triathletes, vegans. What is you got?
Okay.
Front style.
So anyone, let's just say hypothetically, I have a very distinctive voice. So if you know me, you know that cardio is for the weak and talentless. Okay. So if you're doing a triathlon, like,
we're gonna have to rethink CO. There's gotta be a better position to put you in there.
I'm trying to get myself fired if you haven't figured it out. Like, I used to have a lot more free time. So,
Oh man.
but yeah, I think the athlete ambassador, we're evolving it. It's still part of our repertoire, but as far as exactly what it is, I think that's, again, going to evolve into something that's going to pretty much, I think, work itself out to what it will be.
Yeah, I think after COVID and New York Presbyterian and Ryan Larkin Field Hospital, we had to put a lot of stuff on the back burner.
Yeah.
And rethink a lot.
Because we got called into that, and we saw where we fit in, and then after the fact, we were like, this might be the thing. Guys this is where we need to start focusing. So that was the transition piece, supporting the soft medics. And so that's where we've started putting a lot of our focus.
Yeah. Well, again, like with TBI awareness.
Yeah, TBI awareness, yeah, man.
I mean, you're one TBI away from forgetting who you are.
What?
I mean, let's just say hypothetically that one of us had to show the other how to do a blood pressure today.
I don't know that. Again.
Nah, dude, you're taking blood pressure on the calf, man. You're killing it. Dennis just gave you that good CTM look, as we talked about earlier. Like,
Well,
what'd you do that? Bold move, Colin. Let's see how it plays out for him.
Again, I'm trying to end clinics early. I don't know.
you almost did.
I ain't trying to be the best at working hard, man. All right. So what other programs do we got? Let's bring this back around.
Yeah, I think that's is that not enough?
So your international liaisons.
Yep.
Do you have essentially the same programs working in other countries as well?
So we haven't closed any program to them. The issue is translation of skills and I guess scope and all these other things.
Well, governing bodies.
Governing bodies.
Yeah.
Great. There you go. Dang, that was good.
Did
Where'd that come from?
The doctor back there whispered it in my ear.
So yeah, it's the governing bodies. Everybody's different. You have NATO soft medics, right?
Yep.
Who NATO SOCMs kind of a mirror image of American SOCMs, and we understand that program. But then people who are in Greece or Singapore or all these other crazy countries.
But 90% of the countries that you read off earlier,
Right.
Yeah,
that we couldn't place on a map.
5% of the countries that
Like Canada, you mean?
Oh, sorry, boys.
What are you talking about?
But anyway,
They're busy.
Everybody's
They're watching hockey right now.
Yeah,
they're drinking Labatt Blues and watching hockey,
Yeah,
boys.
and now probably smoking weed because they can do that too.
Yeah, it's legal there. So cool. Another thing Canada's got.
Free healthcare and marijuana.
So
anyways, yeah, that's so the problem is we can't really translate a lot of this stuff. We're not closing off any programs to anybody. That's why we need those liaisons. People in their countries who are like, hey, this is how this translates to our medics. Our medics can do this, they can't do that. So like I said, we had soft medics come in. We're not cutting off the education grant to the international medic. Absolutely is open to them as well. And I feel like there's not really going to be any programs unless there's some legality behind it that's going to be closed off to an international medic. So,
yeah. And I think what helps with the soft medic or the international portion is like with anything, if you know in a program, if you know about and heard about and have the documentation about a program that's already written, if this is already being done, and they're able to take that and go, hey, my country, this is what America is doing. So us building this ability and this process here in America, and then building it up to where hopefully one day it puts us out of a job. Hopefully.
You're being a real Republican right now. Is America here to just create? Everybody's gonna be doing that. But I mean, like, think about it though. Like, let's not be so arrogant. I mean, the Thor network that wasn't started in the U.S. It's Norway, right? Norway,
Yep.
am I right? So
No, I'm not saying
there's a lot. There is a lot.
The
to learn
SOM-C in America is what I'm talking about. Stay on track.
Greatest country in the world.
Greatest country. America #1 back-to-back World War champs. But if we build that and then we're able to give that to our soft medic internationals, and they go, hey, these people.
These people.
What do you mean these people? Which is great to say in these times. So we do that, and then they take it and just kind of don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, and so I think we have the NATO SOCM program, which I think we're actually learning a lot from the NATO SOCM program. I'll say this. One reason I wanted to involve the international side of the house was I found myself at SOMA time and time again, or SOM-C, going to the SOM-C and then migrating towards the international track, because there's so many lessons learned, because I've been deployed with international SOS, Finnish SOS, Belgian SOS, Canadian SOS, and I've learned so much from them, not understanding that they're deploying in a myriad of countries.
You're welcome, by the way.
Of different countries that we're not,
Yeah.
or their privileges and their what they're doing are completely different. And so you go there and they're like, well, this is what we're doing with freeze-dried plasma, or we're like touting Raboa, and Finns are like, cool, man, I threw like 5 of them in last week. Like, what do you want to know about it? I think there's a lot to learn from our international partners. So bringing them in has really been a breath of fresh air. Has been super informative. COVID.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Boom, COVID.
Yeah, when the COVID thing was happening, our little team room chat, which with the 10-pound brains. I mean, our international partners obviously saw that before we did, and we're feeding us information, and we were disseminating it as needed or who wanted it, and it was, I mean, honestly, mind blowing. Well, and petrifying.
Absolutely
because
terrifying.
Like
when you hear Italy and Spain talking about their numbers and things they're doing, like at the beginning, they were like, I don't know if you guys know, but this is you guys are in for.
Yeah.
It was like end of days. It's just the worst. Oh my God, what are we getting into? But
I stocked up on MREs for the first time ever. After Mike talking to us, I was like, well, this is it.
This is it, boys. We're done.
Got my canoe and my gold.
I think it was, I mean, shoot, it had to be, probably every day there was a new paper, a new person talking about something to deal with Spain, Italy, Singapore. I don't know what other countries. Like, tons of people dropping in like, hey, look, this is what we're dealing with right now.
Yep.
That immediate feedback, I think, is what our team room, and for the listeners that don't understand, SOM-C has a team room. It's a closed team room only to select individuals from different places that we bring in because we think they're influential, but it's also a resource. So another thing SOM-C has, you email, drop a DM, send a text, do whatever. That's going to get fired off to our team room, and we're going to put it out to the masses, and you're going to hear something back probably within hours, right? I mean, what was some of the wazoo stuff we've had put in there? It's going to happen. Envenomation. That popped up. I mean, Dennis, you remember the envenomation? Somebody was asking about the protocol in Africa, and then we got it from the source, and he was like, this is what it was. This is why we did it, and so on and so forth. So those things like that. I'm not saying it's like a telemed resource or anything like that, but it is a resource for anybody who has a question. And we try to get that out to our team room and feedback, because we want to hear from the horse's mouth, like whether it has to do with blood, has to do with vaccination, COVID.
And with that is part of the SOM-C. Is part of it. You get that access as a member. So if you're not a member, please join. Number one, numero dos.
Numero dos.
See, international. Numero doso. You have that ability to hit us up and us put it in the team room. Yeah. And again, you want to talk about a place where I have no business being is in that team room, because
you're not wrong.
I don't think I've answered or texted in that team room in a hot minute. Yeah. But because of the doctors, the PAs, the flight nurses, the flight medics, the soft medics, it's like when a question gets put out, you literally get this question answered by every angle.
And you kind of, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but what's great about it is you may feel intimidated as a soft medic with all those docs in there, and there's a lot of doctors, nurses, and PAs in there, but then you immediately get a fire back from a soft medic who's like, sorry, no, this is the reality of what we're dealing with on the ground. Not our doctors and everybody are great. They're great mentors to us to help us make us better. But at the end of the day, the soft medic's like, this is the actual thing we're seeing, or this is what I would consider on the other side of the house, which is great. You know, you have that freedom and to say those things and do those things and get that feedback back to the end user.
So you mentioned, please become a member multiple times.
Yeah.
How do you become a member?
Well,
the old interwebs. It's used for other things than what you might use it for.
So if you head over to the website, www.som-c-c, I'm sorry, I'm just ingrained with the military.
Let's clarify. There's only one of those. He said them in 3 different ways, but it's one. SOM-C .org. I just had a stroke. ORG.
All right. www.som-c.org. You go to there. You can click to sign up, and that's it. You become a member.
You do get vetted.
You do get vetted. So this is where some people get frustrated. But go ahead.
So you have to provide a reference, like with anything. We don't want people just like, oh, I'm a soft medic, and get the access and everything that you do get from being a soft medic. So there's a place for references in which Kate, our director, follows up on and does the due diligence in that portion. But we also have SOF Enabler, which is anybody who is not SOF but works directly in support of SOF. So a doctor, so a battalion doctor, somebody who's worked to support the special operations medic in any way to make them better. They get SOF Enabler access. And then you have SOF enthusiasts, just people who are interested in what it is we do. They want to learn more. Their access is different. It really doesn't change very much between the different groups. It's just there are, again, like we said, programs that will always be free and always be available to the SOF medic. That's why we have to go through a vetting process. There's a form that goes out, fill it out. It goes to our director. She vets every single person and then gives you your access. And with that, we haven't talked about this, but once a week, the newsletter,
the Journal Club.
Ricky
Ditzel, man. So Ricky fires off a Journal Club every week. Sundays is usually Sundays, and it's chock full of educational material on current research, programs that are going on, so on and so forth. But that goes out to everybody who's a member. So
so that is one of the benefits, and
you get the webinar as well.
You get the webinar. So there's, again, what do you get when you become a member?
That's it.
You get the journal, you get the webinars, and then if you're a SOF medic, obviously you get more.
And if you go to the website and you go to our merch section, you can get you a sweet llama.
We need to talk about that, by the way. Can we just call it merchandise? Our merchandise section. I've been meaning to say.
Come on, man. I got to bro vet a little.
Merch. You were dogging on bro vet earlier. Like, dude, get some merch.
You get some grunt style swag.
Did you come up with that while doing speed reloads in the mirror?
Oh, God. Why did I even invite you to this? I don't even know why.
You didn't. Dennis just set up. I was grabbing another beer, and he was like, oh, dude, sweet, 2 mics. Don't mind if I do.
One was for Dennis.
Yeah, you and I are doing 2 guys, 1 mic.
Anyways, I swear it's a professional. So, you can grab some merchandise. We have some sweet llama swag and stickers.
No drama, trauma llama.
No drama, trauma llama. And Dennis is rocking one right now.
I was in the gym this morning. He was wearing a shirt over that, and he came by and he was like, oh, check it out. And I was like, oh, I see it.
So there has been a large request for the COVID llama. We did it for a short period of time. I think we're going to have to bring it back.
Yes, but with our up and coming,
there will be a new shirt coming out soon to support.
So again, go to SOM-C. Follow us on Instagram.
At SOM Coalition.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our podcasts. And these are things that when we release them, you'll be in the know, and that way you be sure to get the merchandise.
And if you want to see this continue and you want to help us out and you want to support the SOF medic, donate if you can. I think that's a great way to support the SOF medic and the programs that we're trying to do. So we need support. We need to be able to offer the grants. So if possible, drop by the site, donate, buy some merchandise. Oh,
I caught it. I appreciate it.
I know you do, man.
I like your pronunciation of that word.
God.
You abbreviated merchandise. I want you to think about that.
I got the next 18 hours to think about it.
Well, awesome, guys. Hey, thank you for taking an hour roughly out of your probably next 4 hours worth of sleep before we hit this again.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And it's been awesome listening to your podcast over the years. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I appreciate you lying. All right. Thank you. Today's podcast, be sure to go to our website, www.prolongfieldcare.org. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Subscribe and stay on the bleeding edge of combat medicine. This is Dennis for the PFC Podcast. Out.